Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel of fascinating and useful science. Dear friends, another work week is about to come to an end. Still wondering what to do this weekend? Here. This weekend, take a moment to sit back, enjoy a hot cup of coffee, and admire a unique astronomical phenomenon. That was the longest partial lunar eclipse of the century. From 2001 to 2100, a span of 100 years, this will be the longest partial lunar eclipse, offering a fantastic viewing opportunity for astronomy enthusiasts. So what do we Vietnamese need to do to fully observe this century's longest partial lunar eclipse? Today's video will help you find the answer. Hopefully, this video will allow you to have a complete and memorable lunar eclipse viewing experience. Now, let us embark on this journey of discovery together. A lunar eclipse is a unique astronomical phenomenon that occurs due to the natural motion of three celestial bodies: the Sun, the Earth, and the Moon. This phenomenon occurs when the Earth moves into a position between the Moon and the Sun. At this point, the Earth's shadow will fall upon the surface of the Moon. If the Earth's shadow completely blocks the sunlight reaching the Moon, that phenomenon is called a total lunar eclipse. Conversely, if the Earth's shadow only partially blocks the sunlight reaching the Moon, that phenomenon is called a partial lunar eclipse. On November 18 and 19, 2021, this weekend, astronomy enthusiasts across many parts of the Americas, Australia, Europe, and Asia will have the opportunity to witness a partial lunar eclipse. But it wasn't an ordinary lunar eclipse, it was the longest partial lunar eclipse of the century. According to NASA's 2001 to 2100 statistics, the partial lunar eclipse occurring this weekend will be the longest lunar eclipse of the century, lasting approximately 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 23 seconds. It lasted significantly longer than the longest total lunar eclipse of the century in 2018, which lasted only 1 hour and 43 minutes. According to scientists, this is also the longest partial lunar eclipse in 580 years. Therefore, don't miss the chance to observe this unique astronomical phenomenon. Here is the eclipse schedule for Vietnam. You might want to grab a pen and paper to jot it down for easy reference. This partial lunar eclipse occurred on November 19, 2021. Below are the specific times to observe this phenomenon in Vietnam. You can begin observing this phenomenon at 14:19. At this time, the Earth's shadow will gradually advance, obscuring the Moon and causing it to darken progressively. S shadow covered up to 97% of the Moon. The Moon was now just a tiny sliver in the sky. Then, gradually, the Earth's shadow released it, returning the perfectly full Moon. And the event concluded at 5:47 p.m. on November 19, 2021. Although the initial phase of the lunar eclipse begins at 14:19, it is still daylight at this time and the Moon may not yet be visible. But if you wait patiently, you will have the chance to witness the event at its peak, around 4 p.m. However, the weather is proving to be a major obstacle for astronomy enthusiasts in Hanoi and the northern provinces. According to the weather forecast, Hanoi will be cloudy with a chance of rain in the coming days, which will hinder visibility for Moon observation. But Hai Yen still hoped that in other places, astronomy enthusiasts could still witness this rare and fascinating astronomical phenomenon. During the observation process, if you pay close attention, you will notice the Moon changes through 5 distinct phases, each with its own unique characteristics as follows. Phase 1. The Moon reaches the zenith as the topmost edge of the Moon begins to enter the faint outer region of Earth's shadow. However, this shadow is so faint that most people will not be able to perceive it until about 70% of the Moon's diameter has moved into it. Observe whether there is a slight dimming phenomenon in the southeastern part of the celestial body, located below and to the left of the Moon. The darkness gradually faded, giving way to the light as the Moon rose higher and higher. In the second stage, the Moon begins to enter the Earth's shadow, marking the start of the partial eclipse phase. This will undoubtedly be a far more spectacular and distinct sight, as the bright edge of the Moon begins to sink into the Earth's shadow, a place completely devoid of sunlight. With a telescope, you can observe the Earth's shadowy edge cast upon various lunar features, such as craters, mountains, and low-lying areas. And when the Moon wanes, becoming just a slender crescent, remember to look up at the surrounding sky. Before the eclipse began, the sky was crystal clear, and the Moon at that moment was like a bright broom sweeping everything away, leaving only the brightest stars. But as the Moon wanes day by day, you will gradually see more stars appear. At the peak of the total lunar eclipse, the moon can become nearly 10,000 times darker than it was before the eclipse began. At that time, in addition to watching the lunar eclipse, you could also admire other bright stars in the sky. In the third phase of the total lunar eclipse, at its maximum, only a final, thin sliver of light will remain at the moon's lower edge, while the rest of the moon appeared with a predicted red glow. Its surface is actually sunlight passing through and being refracted by Earth. The light of every dawn and dusk converges, radiating throughout our world. At this moment, if an astronaut were standing on the surface of the moon, that person will see the sun disappear behind the pitch-black Earth, rimmed by a thin, brilliant halo of red and golden-orange light. However, if our hypothetical astronaut were to stand at the moon's south pole, a narrow strip of the sun will appear along the dark edge of the Earth's surface will be immersed in the Earth. The total lunar eclipse phase has ended, and the moon is beginning to move out of Earth's shadow. After reaching the peak of the partial lunar eclipse, as the moon continues moving eastward along its orbit, the events will occur in reverse order. At this point, the moon will gradually move out of Earth's shadow and become increasingly brighter again. Phase 5, the moon completely departs. At this moment, Earth's shadow had nearly left the moon, leaving only a final faint portion. Approximately 25 minutes later, when no more unusual phenomena occurred, the November full moon returned to its normal state as usual. During a total lunar eclipse, the moon gradually turns red, creating an extremely impressive spectacle. In a partial lunar eclipse, though not as impressive, the moon can also take on a yellowish-brown or pale orange color. During a lunar eclipse, the moon appears red because sunlight passes through Earth's atmosphere and is refracted toward the moon, even though the direct light source is blocked by Earth. But the light still curves around our planet, piercing through the atmosphere to finally reach the moon. Earth's atmosphere filters out shorter wavelengths like blue and allows longer wavelengths such as red and orange to pass through. When these red and orange wavelengths pass through Earth's atmosphere, they continue to shine directly onto the moon, giving it a red or orange color. During different phases of a total lunar eclipse, the moon will take on various shades of color. From its initial gray color, it gradually shifted to orange and then transformed into an amber hue. Weather conditions can also affect the vibrancy of the colors. For example, excess particles in the atmosphere, such as dust from a large wildfire or ash from a volcanic eruption, can cause the moon to appear a darker shade of red. NASA scientists say a partial lunar eclipse may not be as spectacular as a total lunar eclipse, when the moon is completely immersed in Earth's shadow. But they occur more frequently, meaning we have more opportunities to observe even the smallest changes in the solar system right before our eyes. And during this partial lunar eclipse, don't miss the spectacular sky transformation on the afternoon of November 19th. So today, we have explored together how to observe the longest partial solar eclipse of the century. Enjoy the video and have a wonderful moon viewing experience. Don't forget to share your fascinating experience if you. Now, please select a video on the left or right side of the screen so we can continue exploring the incredibly fascinating mysteries of the universe together. See you in the next videos. Goodbye and see you again.